Hi everyone, Maya here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite foundation brushes at the moment, and I'm going to be telling you why I like them and why I recommend them. And I'm also going to be discussing some tips on how to apply foundation. So if you'd like to learn these things, then please keep watching. Some of my favorite foundation brushes I actually put them in this bowl so that way I can talk to you about them. So the way I'm going to be doing this is from light coverage to full coverage foundation. So I'm going to be talking about the lightest brushes and then the more intense and heavier brushes. And before I get started, I want to give some pointers on foundation application in general. So as a general guide, big brushes are designed for bigger areas. So there is no rule that says you can't use a brush for a specific area, but there is more of like a recommended usage for certain brushes. So generally speaking, big brushes are designed for bigger areas and smaller brushes are designed for more precise work for smaller areas. And I'll get into that in more detail. And another thing is with the placement and the actual movement. So regardless which brush you use, these are my general tips. So when we're applying foundation in this area over here, I recommend applying the foundation in a tapping motion diagonally versus downwards, because this will drag your cheeks down and it'll give you like that saggy look, especially for mature women. For older ladies that want that lifted appearance, I highly recommend you doing this motion right here and it'll give you that lifted look. Okay, and you can try this for yourself at home. You can do this test half of your face with this diagonal motion versus the other half where you actually push it down, and you will notice it'll instantly give you a lift. And another thing is, because we have peach fuzz in our face, that tiny little white hair in our face, if our brush strokes are against the direction of the hair growth, it's going to make the hair stick out. So what we want to do is make the hair, as much as we can, actually lay flat. We want to apply our brush strokes with the direction of the hair growth, so that way they don't stand and stick up. Same thing here on our forehead, and then for our nose also downward motion, and then here on our chin area as well as in a downward motion. Okay, and then how do we actually use the brush? So I'm not a big fan of actually buffing and blending the foundation, especially for dry skin or acne prone skin. The more you buff, the more you're actually, one, aggravating the area, so you might encounter some redness, and two, you're actually doing like a scrubbing motion, and it's almost like a little facial scrub that you're doing by just buffing it. So I don't recommend you buffing, I just recommend you pressing the product in, and that will give you more coverage than you actually buffing and blending. So you can actually achieve the blended look just by pressing, and that way the product will be absorbed by your skin. And for more coverage, you can build another layer by tapping again. So just press onto the skin in this motion versus you doing the buffing and the round circular motion. And plus, it's going to take you more time to sit there and blend. And if you tap it, you actually use less product and your skin absorbs it faster, and then you're done within minutes. And the more you practice, the better you become at it, and trust me, you will get there. So these are my general rules for foundation application. So now let's get into these. The way I'm going to do this is from light to full coverage based on the brushes that I have and my recommendations. So in order to get a light coverage, okay, I recommend using this MAC 187 brush because the bristles are not compact and they're actually fluffy. And this is a dual fiber brush, so it gives you a flawless like airbrush feathered look, and you can go from one coat and you can build it up to the coverage of your liking. And again, with the same motion, tapping motion, you can actually do the tapping motion here. However, this is big for areas such as your temples, or like if you're trying to do some detailed work. So you do need another smaller brush while you're applying your foundation if you do use this one. Okay, and I will talk about the smaller brushes next, but this is an amazing brush for like an airbrushed look, for a feathered look. You can build it up, as I said, to the coverage of your liking. I love this because I have more control over the foundation application with this, because I can build it to the coverage that I want. So airbrush look, I would recommend this one. And I actually have a dupe for this, so in case you want another brand, there is another one that I recommend from Sarah Artistry. I've been using this for a couple of months now, and I really like it. It does pretty much the same thing as the MAC 187. So these two are for the light coverage. So the next brush is the Chanel number 16. There is a dupe for this. It's the Kryolan number 9930. However, I prefer this, and not because it's Chanel, okay? I have my reasons. My next brush is the Chanel number 16. It's a flat round foundation brush. Another similar one that I really like is the Kryolan 9930. Also the same thing, however, I prefer the feel of this brush more. I like the hairs better because they're actually smoother. There are so many of these brushes out in the market, but I really like the way this brush actually feels as we're using this on the face. So I really love the way this feels. But by all means, you're free to choose whatever you want. Don't feel like you have to buy this Chanel one. No, I'm not about brands. I'm all about quality. Especially on clients, they love it when I use this brush on them. They tell me it's like a little massage. So, and I do like this one too. So this is actually softer than this one. Okay, but this is also another great one. I mean, if you can find a round brush that actually feels good, and these are actually synthetic brushes, which means that they're not real hair. So they're made for cream products and liquids. So you can actually use any, but I want to talk about the design of this brush other than the fact that it feels really soft on the face, okay? So this is round, and it actually has a pointed edge. So this is really good. Applying the foundation again in a tapping motion, okay, for applying it all over the face. And it's also good because it has a round edge. It actually goes in those areas like the sides of the nose and around the lip. You can actually use this around the curves of your face in a better way than you could with the dual fiber one, okay? And also I like it because I can use the edge of it to go in these areas, like I said, that need more detailed work, and I can use this under the eye. Also, I can use this for concealer, and because of the shape, again, I can get into these areas like the temples here to apply my foundation. However, this is a big brush for work, I think, around this area. You will have to, you know, work your way around it. So this brings me to my other brush, which is the 191 brush, also a synthetic brush, and it has a straight edge. And I like this brush, one, because it's smaller in size, and two, because I can actually use it for some concealer work. I can use it to clean out, you know, my eyeliner with it. So if you do your eye makeup first, you can use this brush to perfect your eyeliner and to clean out under your eye, add some concealer again, correct any mistakes that you've done with your lip liner and your lipstick, and you can get into these zones more comfortably than a larger brush. So this is a great one. However, I do not recommend you starting off with this brush because it takes some effort to get used to it. So once you get the hang of it, then it'll become easier to use. If you're building your kit, I wouldn't suggest you buying this as a first foundation brush. But if you're looking to expand your kit, this is a great one to add. And also these flat brushes, I don't only use them for foundation. I use them to apply cream base to the face, to apply primers, moisturizers. I even apply some eye cream and some primer with these eye primers. So these are really like multi-use brushes. And this one, I actually use it for concealer too. I cover acne scars with this, and I also use this for face painting. So if you're into face painting, this is a really cool brush too to have because it allows you to face paint easily. Then for more coverage, I'm going to be talking about this Real Techniques brush. It's called the buffing brush. And I really like this brush because it's round, okay, and it allows me to get into these zones that I want to get into. And I can use the side of it and I can use it flat. But again, with all brushes, so I suggest that you do the tapping motion. And I love this one because I'm actually able to, when I apply my contour, I love this brush specifically because I'm able to blend the contour upwards in this motion with this, okay? It's a really nice brush to have to blend in your contour. And again, for, you know, pressing in that foundation. This is a compact brush, okay? The hairs are more compact. So what does this mean? This means more pressure. So the more compact it is, the more pressure it's gonna apply on your skin. And with more pressure, it's gonna push the product more into the skin, which means what? More coverage. So if you're looking to hide a scar or hide your acne scars or any discolorations in the skin and whatnot, and or if you're aiming to go for like a full coverage glam look, this is a great brush because again, it allows you to press harder onto the skin, and the skin will absorb the foundation more because of the pressure. And it's not going to streak again because we are actually tapping it into the skin. We're pressing it in versus actually doing the whole exfoliating motion. So this is a great one because it's round. And another one that I actually love for full coverage is the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush. Okay, this is a great one for full coverage. It's flat. It allows me to press in my foundation onto that skin, so that way everything is covered. Any discoloration on the skin or anything that I'm trying to hide, this will definitely do it. I love this a lot. The only problem is I seem to find it kind of hard to get into this zone without getting some foundation either onto the brow or on the hairline. So I would go in with a smaller brush for this area right here. However, for the rest of the face, I love this brush because it allows me to actually press in the product more into the skin, and it gives you like a full coverage, full like high definition, flawless look. So yes, these are my favorite brushes, and all of these are synthetic brushes, so they are perfect for cream or liquid foundation. However, if you are using foundation in powder form, then there are other brushes that I recommend for that, and I will be talking about these in future videos. And there are so many brushes out there in the market, so many amazing brushes that are made with like, you know, that are handmade or that are made with like really high quality. So I'm not saying that these are the best in the market. No, I just really like these brushes, and these are the ones that I carry in my kit at the moment. I always change brushes, but I always go back to these ones as my basics, for the reasons that I told you. And so as I said earlier, there are no rules in makeup application. You can use whatever tool you're comfortable with to apply the foundation. As long as you're getting the result that you want to achieve, then you can use whatever you want. So if you were struggling with one brush, now you have an idea of other brushes out there that are available that you could use and maybe address the issue that you were dealing with. Or maybe you just want to expand on your kit and you want, you know, more ideas. So I hope this was useful for you. And I have been getting asked a lot about what I use to apply foundation, so I thought that it would be easier to do this in a video, because I'm not going to be able to explain as much as I want to in like an Instagram post or on my blog, on my website. So I thought it would be easier to actually speak to you guys about it. So let me know if you like this video, and if you have any concerns or comments, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you have requests for future videos, please let me know down below. And that's about it for this time, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.